Hello to all my friends out there. So here we are again. Another fine day in San Diego. It's still hot here. Yes. Okay, I bought this candle. Now this is one of the best ones I bought. I bought this for $2. What is the name of this? This one smells so black pearl. It's really a pretty candle. I'm going to pick up a couple of these. I hope everyone is doing okay. I hope everyone is being careful. This video is, do I think a second wave is coming? And do I think a food shortage is coming? And the answer to both of these questions is yes. You go, well, you might be saying to yourself, "Bye, you're a bit of a pessimist." Yeah, that's true. But I have supports. I have strong support, you guys. He who ignores the past is doomed to repeat the past. I mean, it's bad enough if something happens once, but when it happens twice, you know, he who ignores the past is doomed to repeat the past. Okay, this news was reported October 1st, Hong Kong CNN. So I think that's a rather reliable source. Okay, China claims it has contained the COVID-19. But what about the COVID-20? Okay, so it's relaxing its restrictions. This is going to play out in a few. This is like, you know, I told you guys I always wanted to be a news reporter, an investigative news reporter, and I investigated my news on Safari. So if you would like to investigate my news for yourself, just go under Safari and report and check out China, COVID, you know, and you'll find this for yourself. Okay, so now, why do I say I expect a second wave? Okay, during the Spanish flu, a huge parade issued in a second wave. So you would say to yourself, large crowds? No, thank you. But not in China. Now, hundreds of millions, not hundreds of millions of people are about to go on vacation at the same time. Okay, I am here to tell you, yes, I am here to tell you that Asians love vacations. They usually go, the ones in the U.S. go on a month-long vacation. Vacations are good, but the problem with vacation is you can't be working when you're on a vacation. You know what I mean? So then I would be working my 2 and 3 jobs, and when they got back to from their vacations, no money. Okay, you get the idea? Now, hundreds of millions of people are about to go on vacations at the same time to the 8-day Mid-Autumn Festivals. They're going by highways. Oh, fine. Along every highway towards the capital, trains and planes. Wasn't the COVID spread to the U.S. by planes? Aren't trains like little compartments, like subways? Highways, trains, and planes, National Day holiday, the Golden Week. Like the parade, the Spanish flu. Okay, so last year, a total of 782 million domestic trips. So there was 3/4 millions trips. And who knows, like the Asians I know, they like to travel in crowds. They like to pack in their little vans. I can imagine, you guys. I don't have to go to China. I had China right here. Okay, so now the thing that is good about this is generally nearly 600 billion yen is generated. Otherwise, 95 billion tourism. And China reports that they have their COVID under control. However, I was also watching Europe. Much of Europe is now in the grip of a second wave. How did this happen? So I looked it up under Safari. Major reason is people let down their guard. Okay, so China is on a mission to become a superpower, showing economic and military might to the world. We have our COVID under control. Yeah, just like when you flew it over here. And so we have a mass migration out of New York City. And if you're living in New York City, do not let your guard down. Do not go to protests. Do not let your guard down, because what is flying into New York City? Foreigners. And they're coming to stay, you guys. And why? I would too, if I had the money. Okay, now China, the superpower, the super economic and military power, was shut down as well. So what? The people have a micro memory and forgot about this lockdown? So, they have had a reduction in overall domestic food production. So do I think a food shortage is coming? Yes! Okay, so now I want to mention a good video. And it was by Alaska Prepper. And he just posted it. Check this out. Breaking food shortages hit China. Is America next? Prepare now, Alaska farmer. Okay, so he's one person who I have been following who is a prepper. So, the preppers are alarmists. We're going to get into something in a minute to do with prepping, to do with... So the major reason that the second wave has hit Europe is people let down their guards. They were sick and tired of being cooped up. They were sick and tired of being in self-isolation. I'm sick and tired of it too. I'm sick and tired of the only place I go is Walmart and the 99-cent store. I actually hate it, but I'm not willing to catch COVID. Okay, now back to China. Reduction in overall domestic food production. Why? Well, there's reasons. The delage in Yangtze River Basin, the rice bowl of China, has reduced rice by 70%. And there has been a slash in imports because they have pissed everyone off by giving us all the COVIDs. Now, I heard a creepy prediction, and it was a psychic, and you should never listen to psychics. I go, yeah, that's true, but they can have some interesting predictions. They predicted that the first wave was hit here by the U.S., and China plans on finishing the job up. Well, these big vacations might be their plan. Okay. The slash in imports was aggravated by a deteriorating domestic relations. Yeah, like after you gave everybody the COVID. Okay, so now we see, so now Beijing is set to hit the panic button after, what was that vacation called? What is this vacation? National Day holiday, the Golden Week, the 8-day mid-autumn festivals by highways, trains, and planes. Okay, I actually caught pneumonia. Yes, I caught it in one day in intensive care. And I've had pneumonia, and I have no desire to get it again. It took me a month to recover. Obviously, it didn't kill me, but I was good and sick. And so pneumonia, and this is viral pneumonia. I would doubt you if I had viral pneumonia. Okay, so Beijing to hit the panic button. So why? Because of food clean plate campaign. So there's been a lot of crazy reports about cleaning your plate and all this kind of darn stuff. Now, I wanted to, well, we'll go in the order of my notes. Now, in 1959, now this wasn't as long ago as the Great Depression. 1959, I was born in 1955, I'm 65, but it was a while ago, was the Great Famine in China, and millions of people starved to death. So I said, oh, wow, well how many people starved to death in the Great Depression in the U.S.? I decided to look that up. That's around 1934. Herbert Hoover declared nobody is actually starving. But 20 cases of starvation were reported in 1934, and 110 deaths were caused by hunger. Wouldn't that be starvation? And then Herbert Hoover declared, hobos are better fed than they have ever been. Well, I think that's because people felt sorry for them and gave them food. But you know what's really kind of alarming is if you want to call them hobos, I would call them homeless younger men in their 20s. It's bad, you guys. It's not a joke. I'm sure people are starving as we do this video. Okay, now, this is back to China, who I would say Merry Christmas, China. Merry Thanksgiving, China. Merry hell, China, when you start getting that COVID this time. Okay, prices went up 13% in July on food compared to last year. Pork rose 85% in 2020. China could lose 11.2 tons of grain this year. Imports of grain have gone up 22%. Imports of wheat went up 197%. So for every ton, they're importing 2 tons. Insect infestations, armyworms, locusts devoured millions of acres of wheat and grain. They also had a wheat disease. It was called root rot that killed a lot. African swine fever, 100 million pigs. So 40% of the pigs. Imports of meat have jumped. And where would they get these imports of meat? The USA. That's where they plan on getting it. Okay, so now here's what we know they're short on. So we want to be watching our own you-know-whats. Pork, corn, soybeans. So you might go, well, yeah, that's fine. I don't eat that many soybeans anyway. Edamame, those are green soybeans. They're like sweet peas. Meat alternatives, like soy, like those hamburgers that I bought that were part soy. These are part soy. Walmart, they're cheaper. Okay, tofu, imitation meat like burgers, sausage, bacon, and hot dogs. Miso and soy milk. Also, there's been a problem with the sorghum, the 5th most important cereal grain. So we're watching the grains. Cereal grain crop in the world, sweetener like sorghum, molasses. Out here in the west, we don't eat the sorghum that much, but in the south they do. Okay, So sorghum, it's in our food, it's in our feed, it's fodder for dry feed for cattle, for fuel, for pet food like dogs and cats, livestock. So we have rice, wheat, maize, corn flour, potatoes, and sorghum. So this sorghum problem is not a minor problem. It's kind of like a nightmare. So one of the things I would suggest stockpiling, I straighten out my refrigerator, it's so much better, is molasses and Caro syrup. You might go to the stores to get some and there might not be any. This does not say that it is sorghum, but it says one of the clues that it might possibly be is it is, what is that called? Ingredient molasses. That's usually, it could be cane sugar, but it says, there's a clue that it could be sorghum. I want to give you guys the good molasses cookie recipe. You can take a screenshot. I use molasses a lot. Sometimes I'll use it a lot and sometimes I don't use it at all. And what I use this for mainly is for candy making. And lately I've been making those granola bars and eating those. Another thing I wanted to mention, if you're kind of low on money and you don't have a lot of money for fruit, if you buy these big fruit flavored yogurts, that's going to give you a fruit and a dairy. Okay, so also corn and sorghum is used like ethanol. And it was gluten-free. And this says this is gluten-free, so this could be sorghum. I think it's cheaper than sugar. It's used as a flour substitute. So check out breaking food shortages hit China is America next. Prepare now, Alaska prepper. We've been lucky, we've been given a year to prepare. If you haven't started preparing yet and you're sitting in your house and you don't have any food, please, I'm begging you. I am really begging you. Go to the food pantries, go to the food bank, go to the welfare department, call 211. Do whatever you have to do. Okay, so now I got a good video, and it was what to buy to stock up when you don't have a lot of money, my frugal life. So check this out. So what she said, and I thought she made a good point, is to stock up on grains. Okay, in my life, for my carb portions, I always had potatoes, sweet potatoes, and rice. But your pasta is actually cheaper because now a can of sweet potatoes is $1. And you can't just go buy a big bag of sweet potatoes cheap. I still think rice, sweet potatoes, and potatoes is better than grains and pastas, not counting flour. So what I did today is I got these big bags of noodles. When I went to Walmart, guess what? They didn't have noodles. These are a flour product. You can make your own noodles if you can't find noodles. But I'm going to be stockpiling up on these pastas and grains. So what I make out of noodles is chicken and noodles, dumplings. Okay, when you make chicken and noodles, you can also put dumplings on top of your chicken and noodles. And that's going to stretch your chicken and noodles too. You can make dumplings and tear them up and cook them just like dumplings, but they're biscuits made with Bisquick. And beef stroganoff. If you don't have roast beef, the way I like beef stroganoff is I make a big roast and then I take it out and I make a big batch of milk gravy and I put sour cream and I put like a jar of not chives, those little green things I'm always eating. I forget. Anyway, some kind of chives would be good, but that's not what I'm talking about. So beef stroganoff, and I would stockpile lard because that's pig fat. I can still get that for $2, bacon and sausage. And then I bought a package of peas and a package of lentils because My Frugal Life made the point that they cook faster than beans, and I'll be dehydrating green peppers and carrots and onions, so that if I have to, I can make myself a batch of peas, and you can use ham or sausage in those, or bacon. And then I bought macaroni too. I have some, but I'm going to be packing up a little extra pasta just in case. And what I make is macaroni and cheese. So, you know, if you stockpile some Velveeta cheese and you have macaroni. And then I bought 2 cans of evaporated milk. I think I'm just going to start picking up 1 or 2 cans. And if you have this, you can make your homemade yogurt. So I make macaroni and cheese goulash and macaroni salad. So if you have potato salad, macaroni salad, coleslaw, that is really going to stretch your budget. So for breakfast, I eat cereal and milk. So I stockpile boxes of cereal. And this is to make sure that I'm never going hungry. And I buy them for $1, any old kind, whatever looks good. I try to go for shredded wheat, Raisin Bran, you know, just anything that I can find for $1 a box. And then for lunch, I like a sandwich, a small fruit, or a small salad. Now remember this, if things get very, very crappy, God forbid, you can get by on a sandwich with a small fruit or a small salad. And then I've been making my cost-effective meals. Okay, now I want to talk to you about possible, nobody should be lofty when it comes to this COVID. If you get exposed, you're probably going to catch it. It seems to be highly contagious. The only safe thing you can do is to continue, don't let your guard down. Continue self-quarantine to the end of the year. A true prophet will not lead the flock into danger. Do not go into these big protests, these big political rallies. They're very dangerous. It just takes one idiot. So what I think we're going to have is a duality. We're going to have people that seem to be very safe and sound, and we're going to, because there is a duality. I can't tell you how many times in my life I have tried to warn people and say, don't do that, that's dangerous. Be careful, don't spend your money, stockpile food. Don't do that, it's bad for business, blah, 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 blah. And believe me, they didn't want to listen to it either. Why don't you collect cans? Why don't you try to sell yourself a little, this is very cute, look at this. But I'm selling this for $15, and it's really a good deal for $15. If you don't think so, just go and try to find one. I sold one of my watches today, and I'm selling my watches. I love this watch. It's like a Michelle watch. It's not. It's a Marc Echo watch, but it's really a pretty watch. And I'm selling this stuff cheap, and I will sell this guy too. This is really a nice watch, and I will sell it cheap because somebody with a small wrist sized it, but I can still easily sell it. And then this is a Betsy Johnson watch, which is really a nice casual watch. And so you can get this stuff at thrift stores. So what I'm doing is I'm selling off the clothes and the coats and the watches and the purses and everything that I have, and I'm going into buying these nice clocks because clocks are very cheap. people donate them, and I guess people just aren't interested in owning them, but they're very, very nice to have. My son says no, and he is the boss, but hey, sometimes I listen to him, sometimes I don't. So back to this duality. We're going to have people who are safe and sound, and then we're going to have people not so much. They're not stockpiling food. They're letting their guards down, and they're going to pay dearly for it. Innocent people will probably be victimized. But what I would expect is just like all my entire life, I can't tell you how many times I sat in a shop. I had worked Saturday and Sunday and Monday. People would come back to work so broke. One time, I had my son out by the pool. He was a little boy, and they were playing very, very rough. And I said, "Come on, let's go in. They're playing too rough." And my son said, "Mom, I want to swim. I want to swim." Well, I said, "Well, let's go get an ice cream, and then we'll see when we get back." And it must have happened as soon as we left. Somebody jumped in the pool and severed her artery, her femoral artery, and almost bled to death. And I can't tell you how many times I have narrowly escaped disaster. And so what I want to say about that, if you get that sense that it is not safe, leave. You know, my friend, the one that fell headlong, and she fell head and she hit her head. She said, "You know, I had the feeling I shouldn't have gone." So if you get that feeling, or if you don't let your guard down, but if you get a feeling that somebody is trying to lead you into danger, don't go. It's a very dangerous time. I believe food shortages are coming. And this report of 10 people dying during the Depression of starvation, and thinking that people are not dying in the USA of starvation. Sometimes there's secondary problems, but the underlying problem a lot is malnutrition. So just don't go there. Be careful. Go to the food banks and get your, you just call, and if you are looking in the direction of homelessness, call 211. You know, do what you have to do right now. Don't worry about what other people think. I was working in these good areas, and people could not face the fact that they couldn't stay, and they would kill themselves, which was, you can always get back somehow. You got there in the first place. So that is all I have to say on this subject. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.